We've all heard it before. Just love yourself. Move through life with grace and an open heart. Let love guide you. And it sounds great. I get it. It does sound great. I love moving through life like that. But when you're sitting in fear or doubt or frustration, those words can feel impossible to hear. They really can. Like, are you really telling me just to love myself right now? Because love isn't something you force. It's something you build the emotional capacity within yourself to hold. It's almost like that. It's like, holy, this feels so good. I don't know how to hold this. Well, you don't know yet how to hold that kind of energy, that kind of flowing energy that's coming into your body. So, we're going to build capacity to be able to resonate, be in love more easily. And listen, you're still human. Life is going to happen. And here's the thing, it takes daily vigilance to get yourself into the place where that becomes automatic. And that's what we're doing today. We are going to do the real work of emotional empowerment. We're going to coach women through the exact steps to move beyond insecurity, beyond past self doubt, beyond just into a space where love and personal power can actually flow. Like, we got to get rid of some of the blocks and the things that are just stopping the flow of all this good energy, this source energy, this feel good energy to move through you. And trust me, this is not about people pleasing. Oh, no, no, no. It is not about perfectionism. This is real life. This is about real, grounded, unshakable self love. Okay, it's hard to get there, but this is the kind that comes from courage. Like, this is what you need to know. This is why this is not the frou frou woo woo. Just love yourself, but I don't know how. This comes from self respect. This comes from courage, and it comes from knowing how to, because empowerment is learned. How to break free from the pride shame loop. I teach this. I actually looked it up to be like, is anyone else teaching about the pride shame loop? Did I create this? So far, it seems like I did, because it's a loop and it keeps us stuck. So if this speaks to you today, stay with me because we're about to go deep. This is Simply Woman, and it starts now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, welcome back. If you've been here before, you know that Simply Woman, the podcast, isn't just about a one-time conversation. Real transformation happens in the days and the weeks and even the months, sometimes years after even just one session. It's amazing the way empowerment works. But that's why we're doing something a little bit different today than we did in our first two episodes, because we just got started and now we're like, oh, so before we dive into today's session, we're checking back with last week's guest, Janet, to see how she's feeling. I've really learned a lot about when someone shares and feels courageous and pride. Like, I feel really proud of myself. It's almost inevitable that this vulnerability kicks in, and what lands next is like, I've coined it, sharer's remorse. Here's the thing. I've asked Janet if she wants to come back because empowerment is always a choice. Just like Janet made the choice, the decision to be coached on the podcast last week, she also has the choice to return. And I love choice. And that's power, because I see it all the time. What I call, like I said, share is remorse. You open up, you have this breakthrough, and then suddenly, and I know this because I've done it. I was saying, like, I've been on so many interviews. I've done so many podcasts. I've taught so many classes. I'm unfiltered. And for a while there, I scared myself because the stuff that I just say. And I realized why I was saying it was often because I thought, but if I think this way, or I've been through this, or this has happened to me, and I've had a breakthrough, and I'm not dealing with that anymore. Like, why don't I just tell the context of what I was going through and how it shifted for me? And this is how, if we can't share, or we feel like we have to be perfect, or we have to protect all the secrets, or the pride shame loop takes over. One moment you're proud of yourself for speaking up. The next you wonder, did I say too much? My life story. Am I too much? Did I do too much? Is my hair too much? Am I too much? Should I have held back? Should I hold back? But real empowerment is breaking free from all that. It's breaking free from that loop. It's about standing in your truth, owning your story so it doesn't own you anymore. It's not about oversharing. It's not about hurting other people. It's it's about checking in with your truth. And when you change the way you look at things, you change and they change just from all this stuff that's going on with your imagination and the brain and your heart, and it all starts to connect. So let's do a check in and see where Janet is at today. Hey, Janet, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
I was,
Lots of shares remorse, as you call it, last week. I shouldn't say lots, but like for the first little while, I was like, oh my God, what if somebody I know sees this? What if my daughter sees it? What if Steve hears me downstairs? And but I got over it pretty quick. Um, One thing I'm having personal training, personal empowerment coaching calls with Crystal.
yes,
And
yes.
along with that, it's quite helpful for me what you're teaching me about accepting all the nasty things that are going on in my life. Those statements really help me feel like my heart is opening and my body is not heavy.
Wow, it's beautiful.
It's not as
Let's
heavy.
recap. I'm going to recap what you just said. So Janet and I also do coaching. Janet has signed up to become an empowerment coach. I shared that the last time, and I think I saw her face that you guys didn't see it there. You just saw her little grin. She kind of was like, and I saw that little grin, and I was like, I think maybe I'm not supposed to be sharing that, but Janet is on a mission right now for really wanting to. I'm gonna say it this way. Janet's on a mission of healing. She's on a really deep personal journey of healing and healing. And what does that mean for healing? She's letting herself. I'm gonna let her say it, but she just said letting myself accept, because this is what we. She's also booked coaching with me, so we did our fourth coaching call this morning, as a matter of fact. And I realized in that coaching call that I really wanted to invite you back on because as we talked, I realized that this is what the pride shame loop is. It's right there. It's like you feel proud of yourself and then you start going, what? And I feel guilty. It's all the emotions in there that are really hard to accept. Oh my God, I feel guilty that I talked about my husband and my daughter. Do I have the right to do that? Like, I don't have the right to tell things about them. Like, I feel, what if they hear? I feel ashamed. I feel embarrassed. I like, there's just a billion emotions that you might not have felt, but it would be very normal if you did. I felt fear. And the process I gave to Janet was, what if you could just give yourself permission to not be in such resistance? Because you're very strong. Janet said, I feel very strong mentally. I feel very strong physically, but I don't feel strong emotionally. And I said something to Janet and she said, I need to write this down. And I said, Janet, you're very strong emotionally. It's that you're not comfortable with your emotions. So you want to be strong and you have these mental thoughts of strength. But that locks you in the pride shame loop. And the reason it locks you in there is because this pride, which is right at the top of the loop, by the way, like if we could just push through pride, like if we could just let ourselves be like, because we do have to have self pride. We do have to have dignity in order to get anything important done in the world. We do have to believe in ourselves. We do have to feel like I can tell my story. I'm going to do this for me. I got to get some coaching. I want to get some coaching. Crystal is a world class coach. This would be an incredible opportunity. So you want to do this for yourself. And then one of two things happens. We either push through and we have the courage to honor ourselves and speak our story like you did, and then just let it land one level higher, which is actually an emotion just called neutral, which is like, and I'm using this off of I have an empowerment coach success model, and I'd love to give it to everyone who's listening today, a copy of that book, the digital copy, and it's on, I think, page 34, and it's called The Language of Emotions. And we understand what pride feels like in the body, and it feels pretty good when you've been in fear. It feels pretty good, doesn't it, Janet, when you've been angry, to suddenly be like, I don't want to be angry anymore. I'm just going to have some dignity and self-respect and do what I got to do. So if we could push into courage, which you did last week, how did it feel?
Great.
It did it.
Yes, it did.
And then,
I mean, when I put my hand up to be a part of the podcast, I instantly went, "Oh my God, what did I just do?"
yeah,
But
that's
then it
right.
all flowed naturally after that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was all normal. It was natural. And it was just two women sharing a conversation that really was resonating in love. It was very high resonating. Everyone could feel it. You shared a little bit about that you've been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, that you're having some struggles with your children, don't we all? That you're having some struggles with your husband who you love and adore, but maybe you're codependent. That can happen. Like you just shared some just real life things. But on top of it, I have this health scare right now, and I really needed to take care of me. And that became like, we need to care about Janet right now. And truthfully, your kids care about your healing, and your husband cares about your healing. And everybody just wants to be like part of this pouring love on you. So I did say to you, would you come back? Because Janet, it is letting yourself receive love too, to be seen, to use your throat chakra, to speak your truth and to stand in it and just let yourself, you don't have to be amazing, but you don't have to fall down to a low place either. Like sometimes we just got to let it land and then unplug. Don't watch it again. Just unplug, let it land and be like, I did that for me. And I'm not attached to, because the chances that your kids are ever going to find this or your husband are next to zero, unless they're like, I want to know all the things my mom does. But the reality is most kids want to know nothing that their mom's doing, especially when they're in their late 20s. So back to you, Janet. Just let's do a little recap and tell us how you're feeling, because one of the processes was just like, I accept that I am really angry that I have cancer, because you didn't want to be angry and you didn't want to be afraid. I accept that I have this fear inside my body. That's not, I accept that I'm angry about cancer. You're not accepting yet cancer, and maybe you never will. Maybe there will come a point where you'll say, I accept that I have this cancer in my body. I don't know, Janet. I don't know that for you. And I wouldn't even suggest that to somebody unless there was something in them that said, I think it might give me tremendous relief. So let's turn it back to you.
I just the accept model. I've done it with so many things over the past day or so. Even as I mentioned to Crystal this morning, even our dogs, when they go out in the backyard, they just bark, and I'm just like, they annoy me. So I love them dearly, but they annoy me, and I just say to myself, I accept that our two dogs annoy the heck out of me when they get out there and they bark, and our neighbors are going, what, these dogs out there again? And so there's so many models, and as a way I use that I accept model. And also going back to sharing a story last week, there's a part of me that has not spoken out in so long, but I have listened to many women since I started PEC in September. And each time Crystal invites somebody to coach at the end of the call, at the end of the class, I'm sorry. And I listen to all these women, and everybody inspires me. So I'm like, I'm taking and taking from everybody. Okay, now it's my turn to give, like to share, to say something, because my voice matters as well.
Yes.
So it was quite, it's been, it was, that was quite, and I don't know if it's an awakening, I would call it, but it's quite enlightening, or I'm not even sure the right word for it, Crystal. But yeah, and these past 2 days, again, more coaching today and yesterday with Crystal, again, more, like just way more awareness.
It's beautiful. It's
Thank you.
absolutely beautiful. Amazing, right? Like
Yeah.
to everyone just listening, and those of you that had a chance to catch last week's episode, like Janet made the choice to come back to keep the conversation going, and that's where real transformation happens. If you felt something in Janet's story, that's because transformation isn't just for Janet. And that's what we're all realizing. It's for all of us. Like it's for me. I got a lot out of it. I've been walking around saying, I accept that I feel fear that, and then it's like, oh, I don't actually feel that fear. I don't know what's going on here. I accept that I feel frustrated that my husband is, and it's not me throwing my husband under the bus. We're just real people. We have real life. It's always going to be the people closest to you that trigger you and drive you crazy. So like you're not throwing anyone you love under the bus. You're just going like, I love them. They drive me crazy. They annoy the hell out of me. I love my dogs. It annoys the hell out of me. I accept that I love my dogs and I accept that when they bark, they annoy the hell out of me. And guess what? I still love them because you actually can't reach love without acceptance, but you can't force that on someone. Like you can't say to someone, accept the barking, accept the cancer. You might go, I can't, but I can accept that I'm angry about it. And I can accept that I'm exhausted by this bullshit. And then that level of acceptance actually overrides the anger and it overrides the bullshit and it overrides, at least temporarily. And it doesn't mean it's fixed all the problems, but in that moment, you're resonating higher and you're not bogged down in the weeds. And up in that higher place, you have the mental real estate now to like, what? What what are your next steps, Janet? Just for now, like what does it feel like courage would have you do now that you're in this level of like, I'm accepting my emotions?
For now, I have to continue with the acceptance. Like I'm not ready for another level. At least that's where I'm at. Because in order for me to, I think, go to the next level, there's so many things that I still need to accept, and be okay with it.
Yep.
So I think for now, for me, my focus is going to be on the acceptance.
So I love that. And here's why. Because if you had said something different, because empowerment coaching, we also never give people advice, by the way, ladies. We don't give advice. We are not there to give advice. We're there for us to help Janet access the level of consciousness that she's comfortable at, that it feels like it feels, I feel good with this one. And when you're trying to push someone to get happy too fast, you can actually hurt them. Like it's like positive psychology works when someone's in a place to receive that positive. Like when I was saying to Janet last week, you might have been like, why are you making her recite something that doesn't, but I've done this long enough that I could feel what I was doing. I could feel that she was at the cusp of the pride shame loop. And if I could push her into courage, we could have a breakthrough. If I was working with someone and I truly knew, like, wow, this woman is like truly resonating. She can't turn her camera on. She couldn't turn her camera on. That takes too much courage. She's not there. Like and I get her on the call, I would not be having her say those things. Just know it's very individualized. So you're meeting your client where she's at. You're always meeting people where they're at, not where you're at. You can be resonating up in love. I love everything. I'm unconditional. The way that I love Janet right now is the way that I love my children. Like I just the emotion of love is healing. So when we have conversations that are loving, so you can be up there, but if you as a coach get on and you realize, wow, this woman right now has had some things happen, it's drained her. She's drained and she doesn't feel really empowered right now because she doesn't, because she's given her power away to way too many people. I cannot say to that woman, let's just have a happy thought. Come on, let's make some healthy food. Like that is not, you meet them where they're at and you meet them in the place that's like, yeah. Can we get somewhere fast? Sometimes we just have to build emotional capacity to take on a little more energy and to sit with that. So what Janet's saying is, I'm really sitting in the energy of neutrality. That's actually not actually in the energy of acceptance. She's neutralizing the triggers of all the shit that's been driving her crazy. That's what that process does, ladies. It just neutralizes. So, Janet, thank you so much. Any last thoughts before we introduce our next guest?
Just thank you. Thank you for everyone, actually. It's 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 quite nice to be a part of this community, and that's why I wanted to do MEC, but I don't think I'm gonna do that right now.
Well, I said to Janet, you don't
Thank
need to
you.
spend any more money right now. Let's just get you accepting the money you've already spent.
Thank you, Crystal, and everyone.
All right. Listen, if you felt something in Janet's story, honestly, I really would love for you to go back. And Janet gave us this beautiful opportunity to learn and to listen and to release our own limiting beliefs and stories. So I just want to thank Janet so much. And as you listen, like I said, you might be saying to yourself, well, what's my next step? So if you did miss the episode, go back and watch it, subscribe to my channel. And you can actually check in at my school, the SWAT Institute. Janet was talking about MAC and PAC, and you'll be like, what are all those acronyms for? Check it out, www.swatinstitute.com/podcast. Now let's meet Angela. Angela is here. She's ready. She has no idea what's about to unfold, but I do. And I know this incredible woman, and whether she thinks she's in the right place right now or not, let's dive in. Hey, Angela, how are you?
I
Good.
said yes. I said yes. So I'm doing better than I thought I was going to be
Angela,
doing.
you said hell yes. You were like, hell
Yeah.
yes, I'm gonna do it. Angela, thank you for being on. Angela, let's do a little Cliff's Notes version, Cole's Notes version of where you're at just now. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but not really. You're choosing this. So this is powerful work. So give us the Cole's Notes or Cliff's Notes version of what's going on for you.
Predominantly, I'm going into my seventh decade, so I'm going to be 70 in September, and I think that has caused a lot of shifts for me, for my life. And what's going on is I have a lot of physical challenges right now that are slowly getting better, and I did not plan on those, but they're very challenging. And then I'm caring for my disabled son, and I want to, help him transition for his next steps as well.
Okay. Yeah. You're amazing. Can we all just first say that, Angela? 70. Angela, how do you look like you're 40? What's going on with that? That's all I want to know about that. Angela is also a master empowerment coach, and she does take care of her son, Sonny. Yes,
Yes.
Sonny. So before we get into strategy, ladies, when you do empowerment coaching, it's always emotions first, strategy second. Okay. So we do coaching from the body, not from the head. So the first thing we want to do, Angela, is we just want to put 2 feet on the floor. It really does. It's a grounding exercise. And it's important to do that. It's like, it's almost even a metaphor for life. Like, really, ultimately, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And I got to put 2 feet on the ground, and I got to get myself to where I want to go, because nobody's coming to save me. So 2 feet on the ground is a metaphor for if it's meant to be, it's up to me, and I'm going to stand like a mighty oak tree. And I got to grow me some roots long and deep, no matter what's going on in my life. So, Angela, 2 feet on the floor. Can we do this together? Let's take a big breath in. Just if you want to lift your arms, you can. If you don't, I always say to the ladies, just lift your arms like, woo. And as your arms are lifted and you have that big breath, relax your pelvic floor. See if you can just relax your pelvic floor and exhale. And now you have awareness of your pelvic floor. You might go, what does this have to do with anything? Well, isn't it interesting that it's all connected? Sacral chakra, root chakra connects right to our throat chakra, cervix, and cervical spine. So we're connecting the energy in our bodies. So we're now going to just be aware of pelvic floor. We're going to engage pelvic floor as we engage our voice. We sit tall. We feel powerful. Angela, if it didn't make you a bad mom, it didn't make you a bad daughter, it didn't make you a bad woman, it did not mean one dang thing about you as a human being. If you could just tell yourself the truth right now and drop down, down, down out of your busy brain and all the thoughts and the worries and the turning 70 and the physical challenges and what are we going to do with Sunny and all blah, 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 just to keep dropping. Feel yourself drop all the way down into your throat. I'm just going to mute your line for a second. We're just going to drop all the way down through your throat, right down into your body. Let yourself just feel the sensations in your body right now. Just feel what's going on inside your body and whatever you feel. Is it churning? Is it still? Is it empty? Is it dark? Is it bright? Is it light?
It's light. There's dark behind it. And there's words, and it says, I want to live.
Yes, I want to live. And how does that feel? Breathe into that.
It feels
Breathe.
true.
Breathe into the place. So don't go up in your head. Stay down in your body. Stay down in your body. Your body is your messenger. It's talking to you. It's like your soul right there talking to you through your body, and your soul, your spirit, your energy is saying, you have so much living to do. And a willing spirit, boy, magic can happen without willing spirit, can't it? Yeah. I want to live. And there's this bright light, but underneath the bright light, let's know the bright light is always there because it's who you are. And it's like it's reminding you, like the source energy that flows through the most divine spiritual gurus you've ever watched flows through you. The healing energy that flows through every person that's ever had a miraculous healing flows through you. The Holy Spirit that has touched people's lives all over the world flows through you, which is so anointing. But we also have our humanness and our fears and our shadows. So let's ask the light if it would just lovingly just move to the side. Let's see in our bodies and just say, today I accept that there is darkness behind the light. So are you comfortable just letting yourself accept that there is light and there is a dark shadow in there? Can you let yourself be comfortable with, like, I accept that there's a dark shadow in there?
I do accept that there's a dark shadow in there.
So let's go back into your body and just ask your body how long that dark shadow has been in there. Don't go up in your brain. Just stay in your body. Let your body talk to you. Just like be down in your body. Love your laugh of truth. So don't think about it because your thoughts don't know. But if you just ask your body, like, let's stay with the dark shadow. Let's not overthink it. Tell me more about this dark shadow. Where is it sitting inside you? Where do you feel it? Where do you see it? Where do you acknowledge it?
I think it might be kind of in my heart and maybe a little bit lower, the dark
Let's
shadow.
So let's close our eyes and let's do this again. It's really important we do this, Angela. We're going to see a little mini you standing on a little mini elevator and a little platform inside your brain. Your brain is so freaking smart. It is firing off like a billion neurons every second, and it is so busy in there. So you're going to walk over to the elevator that's at the wall there in your brain, and you're going to press the down button, and you're going to go into the elevator when the doors open. And the doors are going to close, and there you are standing inside the elevator, and it suddenly got really quiet. The elevator is soundproof. We're going to press the button down. It's so safe. This elevator ride you'll never have problems with this elevator. You're going to press the 4th floor, Angela. Keep your eyes closed. Let's drop down out of our busy brain and feel the elevator in your head, slowly dropping down, down, down through your throat chakra. I saw your throat just have a little swallow. Lick your lips and swallow. Feel it continue to drop all the way down in between your chest, between your breasts, right in your heart center. And let the elevator doors open. And there's magnificent green everywhere. There's the most sacred, beautiful garden. You have the most gorgeous garden inside of you. See all the beautiful flowers. Smell the beautiful fragrance. Beautiful. Your heart is so big and so blooming and so magnificent. And In your heart center, you see just a little door over in the distance. And it's so bizarre that there's this door standing there in your sacred garden. I love your laugh. But today you're just going to walk over to the door because you feel such love and acceptance. And you're so anointed right now and so much loving energy that today you feel safe to just stay in your body, go over to the door, open the door, and there's darkness. Walk into the darkness. How does it feel to open that door and walk into that dark shadow inside of your body?
Words came out, you know, that song, Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yes.
Da, na, 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 na. I know Crystal thinks she's a singer. She's not, though, but she really loves to belt it out. Hello, darkness, my old friend. And ask that darkness, how long have you been here, old friend?
Mhm.
Stay in your body, feel it. Your body will just tell you the answers. Your brain doesn't need to think about this. It's instant. I've been here, boom, since I was how old?
Well, I was young, but I don't know if I can give you the exact
Don't
age.
worry. How's young?
Let me see.
Stay in your body.
Maybe,
Stay in your
okay.
body.
All right. I would say maybe 10, and I don't know why that would be that way.
Beautiful. You don't have to think about this, Angela.
All
This
right.
isn't a thought process. This is a feeling process. So let's go back to it. Let's do it together. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm with you in there. Okay. So we're together. Like I've got a big miner's light. I have been going into the darkness for 30 years. I'm great at it. I can go into the swamp with women and be like, come on, girl, I'm going to show you the way out. Let's go. Got nothing to fear. So together we're going to go into the darkness. You were 10 years old. And you remember how you felt at that time. You don't even have to know what was going on. You might know, but it's not even about so much the thing which you could talk about. You don't need to talk about with me, but the feeling that started to come up for you around that age. What was that feeling that created that shadow, that disconnect, that I don't belong?
I think probably questioning who I am or whether I was worthy of being who I am, that kind of thing. Thinking of it externally instead of internally.
Beautiful. Let's go back to your body and let's go back into the heaviness. Let's imagine there in the dark, there's a little girl that we see together, and she's over sitting in the corner. She's by herself. She's about 10 years old. And we walk over together, and you realize there's little 10-year-old Angela. She's 10 years old, and she has been in this dark shadow room for a long time, nearly 60 years. And she doesn't want to be in here anymore, Angela. She just wants your love. She's sorry that she didn't know what the hell was going on when she was 10. And she's really looking to you right now, this wise, beautiful 70-year-old woman who has more love in her than she could possibly. She could heal the universe with the amount of love that's inside there. So let this wise version of you, the most loving version of you, talk to your 10-year-old self. What would she say to your 10-year-old self?
She would say, it's okay. You are so loved. You have no idea how bright you really are.
And what does your 10-year-old girl want you to know, though? How hard it's been? Like, where have you been? Why did it take you 60 years?
Oh, if I could have done it sooner, I would have. You know, really, if I could have done this work a lot sooner, I would have.
Why don't you tell her that?
If I could have done it earlier, I would have done it earlier for you.
And what does she want you to know, though? Because she needs to be validated. Like she's felt it kind of ignored. She has been ignored. Like, so let's just, what does she maybe need to tell you? Like, do you want to know what the hell's been going on in here all this time, Angela? Wise
Yeah,
and mind
yeah.
you that giggles and thinks it's funny that you would have done it sooner. Like she's not finding it funny.
No, I'm actually very sad that she had to do that. And I would say that I was so distracted or didn't really want to look at things or anything like that. And so I don't really have an excuse for it other than I'm here now.
Yeah. And you know what's so beautiful about kids? They're so forgiving. Like little kids. Your 10-year-old just wants your love. Like she's like, "Will you love me now?"
I always did love you. It took me a while to love myself. I always loved you, even though you're part of me, but it took me a long time to love myself.
So let's imagine we're going to give her a hug. We're going to reach our hand down together. We're going to do a group hug. The three of us. Let's like group hug. We're all hugging. And she's not sure yet, Angela. I'm going to be honest with you. She's not quite ready for all this love. This is quite foreign to her. She's been neglected for a long time. So let's take her hand and let's say, guess what's on the other side of the door? Wait till you see this place. Come on. Let's take her together and we're going to walk through the door. And actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to flick the light on. Because did you know there was a light in that room this whole time? You didn't? Okay. Can we find that? It's actually a dimmer switch, Angela. Can we just go to the wall right now? There's a dimmer switch
Yeah.
here. Okay. We're going to start turning the light out. And she's like, what the hell? And then you're like, let's look at through the window, actually. Who knew? And we're gonna go out there. And now your 10-year-old little girl's gonna come out in your secret garden. Holy, how does that feel for her to be inside your secret garden? What's she
She's
doing?
amazed that this even exists.
Yeah. So let's ask your body again. Let's go back to your body in the dark place that's inside your body. Let's drop down out of our busy brain and go back there. And let's try to find that darkness now and see what that darkness needs. Is there more darkness? Is there other places, Angela? Is there anywhere else in there that really needs your love and attention now?
No, I think more me. I need more of my own love and attention now.
So let's find her. Who's me now? Where's she,
uh,
Angela? Holy, you mean you have more than one part? You got a lot of parts?
yeah,
So imagine if all those parts got together for a family hug, for a family dinner.
I remember
Angela,
that.
let's invite your 10-year-old, your 20-year-old, your 30-year-old, your 40-year-old, your 50-year-old, your 60-year-old, and now your 70-year-old. Why don't we all invite them for a beautiful family dinner at a beautiful restaurant? And you have a private dining room, and everyone's going to get to know each other.
That'd be great.
What would that feel like? Let's pretend for a minute. Let's use our imagination. If your imagination is your greatest healing tool, let's use your imagination and imagine let's imagine they're all sitting at the table. Tell me a little bit about this dinner. What's going on? Like if I told you mine, I'm an actress. I can literally be like, oh my God, my alcoholic's at the table. She's like, I want another glass of wine. I need a man. I just need a man. And then I've got my little wounded little girl, and she's like, you guys are all crazy. I don't even know what to do with it. And then I've got my like mad scientist who's saving the world, and she's writing books, and she works day and night, and she never stops working, but she's forgot to brush her teeth because who has time to brush her teeth? She doesn't have time to eat. Who has time? I don't know. She's just gonna eat a bag of bonbons because she's taking care of the world. So let's find your people, Angela, who's at your table. Tell me about the women at your table. Tell me about them.
Uh, most of them from 40 on, 40, 50, 60, 70 would be caregiving because I had my children when I was 40. So that would be a whole different lifestyle from 10, 20, 30, 40. Because
Okay.
then I was, yeah.
I love this. Okay. So we're now almost seeing these two parts, like we're seeing some parts. So it's like there's Angela before 40 and Angela after 40. Tell me about Angela before 40.
Angela before 40 really enjoyed doing things in her life, but there was always a part of her that I think felt different than everybody else. I did. I don't know why. I don't know how that would be that way, but I always kind of felt I was a little bit different. But it didn't really bother me, but I did feel different. But I loved what I was doing. I was a nurse. I had always wanted to be a nurse since I was 7. So I did do that. And I did like over 20 years of being a nurse. And I
Incredible.
really enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. What a career that is so underpaid, and it's like the superheroes of our society. And
Yeah.
teachers. Like I'm always like, these are the people who are like literally taking care of us when we're dying to get us healthy and literally raising our children. And they're the least paid. And 90% of them are women. That's another whole story about women and empowerment. So, Angela, thank you for doing that and taking care of it. So, at 40, you have your children, your twins. You have your one son who is born with Down syndrome. I don't know if that's even what we say anymore. I'm sorry if I'm not
No,
appropriate.
it is, it is. That's what you're saying.
So, at 40, you were like, okay, were you a single mom at that time or were you married?
I was married.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about now I'm a mom. I put on a different hat. I took off that hat, Angela, took off her. She put her down in the basement with the 10-year-old. You guys, I don't know. What did you do with them? What did you do with the part of you that was like having fun?
Well, I had always wanted to be a mom, so I was very excited. So it was a good transition
Oh, so this was like
and
actually like an exciting time. This was
an
like,
exciting
oh,
time.
a new time in my life. So
Yes.
turning 40, was that the like breakthrough of love time in my life?
I didn't even bother me. I was 40 because there was so much going on
I
that I
don't even
didn't
mean the
even think about
40.
it.
I mean, like if it was 24 and you had the children, was that like the breakthrough of love? Like, was that when you experienced like what happened at that age? You had your children. It doesn't matter the age. I'm just
Yeah. Okay. So what ended up happening is I got married about like the year before, and I didn't think I was even ever going to get married. So there was a big life transition into my going into my 40s where I got married and then I got pregnant right away. And and then that piece about I always felt different came again. The shadow came again because I think I was, I don't know, 20 something weeks, and they told me that there was something wrong with one of the babies and maybe another one of the baby. They weren't sure if one or both were affected. And so actually I'm going to be in a chapter of a women's book about accepting and loving what is, and it's how I dealt with I didn't want to have that happen and all the internal struggles I had to do to accept something I didn't want to accept. And accepting and loving what is the name of my chapter.
of course it is. And
So
it's literally the name of our podcast today.
and so it just goes through the journey of how difficult it was for me to accept something I didn't want to accept and that turmoil and still loving them. So there were a lot, I felt very different because all my other friends had either had their babies and they were all, typical, normal, whatever, however you want to say it. And so again, I felt very different. So it
And
came back again,
yes.
like,
Yeah. So we're going to stay with that because that's the feeling. That's the feeling right now that I think needs love. I think that's the part of you right now that just needs to know um it's a part of each of us. And I will tell you that Angela, it's probably the deep core wound that is for most people, which is whether it's I'm different, it's I don't know if I belong. I don't feel the same. I don't I I'm different and I'm maybe not enough. Like there's just this whole thing that's a deep core wound. And I love your just honesty of saying it comes up at times. And so if we could again see that part of you that feels so different as a version of you. A version of you. I'll tell you who I see when you talk about that different part of you. I see the artist that's in you. I see the compassionate teacher. I see the woman that writes the book that teaches about acceptance and love. I see that's the part of you uh, that I want to hope that you're going to see in this conversation today that I think you actually know, because this is why you are a master empowerment coach, but you're also
you
a
saved my
human.
life by that.
Oh,
You did. I did that during a dark night of the soul. My friends laughed at me when I told them I was going to be a master empowerment coach because they said, you got to have your life together, Angela. But I knew in here that that was going to happen. So Yes, you saved my life, and I'm so grateful for you. That's why I still follow you.
Angela, I love you, and I receive that, and it's like, oh, to think how blessed I am that I have these women that say that to me. I receive that, and I say, you helped me save my life. Like we did it together, because like having women who like followed me, loved me, listened to me when I didn't belong in my own family. I was ostracized. I was never accepted. Like from the time I was little, as they might say you were, I wasn't. I was bullied excessively, terribly, and I was ostracized. So I never belonged. My deep core wound is that I don't belong. So guess what I did? I built a community where I would belong. I literally built
Yes.
this community of women that I belong to. So like I belong to them. I don't have a family, but I have this family. And it's not cultish or weird. It's just this beautiful community. So I saved your life, but really you saved your life. And I saved my life, but you helped me at times. And the fact that you show up, that the fact that you come on this podcast today and you had no intention probably of actually being the person to be coached.
Right. Yeah.
I see you shaking your head. Nope, no, I really wasn't. But you know what? Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing your humanity. That even though, and it's interesting because you want to know what so many women say, who am I to become a coach? I don't have my shit together. Like your friends literally said to you, Angela, you got to get your life together.
Yeah.
But guess what? Doing that work for yourself is what helped you at that time. What was your health? Where was your health at when you joined or when you started following me?
My physical health was good. My emotional health was um not good. I needed, a lot of things in my life were falling apart. My former life was falling apart and going away. And so it was this new place that I was in, a whole life that I'd been built for. Like was in the same house for 29 years. I moved like 4 miles away from where I grew up. I was very rooted in my life, and my children and all that. And then all of a sudden, like everything got taken away a little bit at a time, but very suddenly. And I was standing in bare walls and
When did
saying,
this
I'm not
happen?
staying here.
When did that happen? When was it that
Mm,
you made this big change? Was this you leaving your husband?
no, we had left prior to that,
Okay.
when the kids were 3. So it was in 2013.
2013, you were having your dark night of the soul.
Definitely having a dark night of the soul.
And you decided I need to do this for me first.
Yeah, you came in my email, and I don't even know how that happened, but oh, I'm so glad it did. And I didn't even think of being a life coach. It wasn't even one of my things that I was going to be doing. So, but it resonated with me at that particular time. And so it was a very difficult time in my life. And literally between the laptop and doing the studies, I got better, I got healthier, and I got empowered, you know. So it was great. And I don't do it perfectly actually all the time and at all, but you did. You came at a great time in my life where I really needed it, and I needed to have that root. You were a root for me when everything else was being unrooted.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, I use that word a lot. We root to rise. We have to root to rise. We cannot stand in our power if we still are carrying a story that's like, I don't belong. I'm not enough. The people who had me don't even want me, or whatever the story is. And so we have to form our roots, our own roots. We have to create those roots. I've said this before, and women that do my yoga classes will laugh because I like talk more than I teach. But I'm like, ladies, do you know why trees in a forest are so much more powerful than a tree standing, or rooted and stable than the tree standing alone in a huge field? And it's because the roots of trees wrap around each other. And so we strengthen each other when we're together. And so it is. So when we're doing yoga, I'll say to the ladies, if we get ready for tree pose, like I let her go, okay, do you think these ladies will stand solid in tree pose for themselves? No. But all of a sudden you say, all right, I need you to lock your roots in, grow roots long and deep out of the bottom of this foot. All right, you're growing it. Now start wrapping around the roots of the women beside you. Let's anchor each other in. Okay, now let's go. And as we rise, everyone's like a mighty oak tree, because there is something about energetically knowing you're no longer alone. You don't have to do this alone. We cannot heal alone. If we could heal alone, every woman in the world would. Who wants to tell people our embarrassing stories? Nobody. But we can't heal alone. We need to be witnessed. And we need to be witnessed through our pain in a way that we're, one of the reasons why for many years I did empowerment coaching, and to this day, I actually do it on just a telephone without video. And I know I've had women say, why in this day and age it's on Zoom? And I say, because the bottom line is, like, I don't want you to have to worry about anything exterior. I don't want you to think about, well, does my hair look good? Does my that? What will she look like? Will she be a lot? And I don't want to worry about how I look. I don't want it to be about anything physical. I want it to be heart to heart, emotion to emotion. I feel you. I'm meeting you. Let's rise together. And there's something so powerful about that, being supported and nurtured in our times where we need someone to stand for us. That's what we're doing, Angela. We're standing for each other, and then you're growing your own roots. So let's circle back around to, I'm turning 70 in September.
Yeah.
We all need to throw a party for Angela. September what, Angela? What's the
12.
day? September 12th. So you are a Libra.
Virgo.
That's right. Virgo, you are salt of the earth. How do you feel about that, turning 70, Angela? When you just let yourself drop into your body, not up in your thoughts about what 70 means, but like, I'm feeling in my body that I have an opportunity as I'm turning 72
To live. I want to live my life. Yeah.
Yeah, we want you to live. We all want you to live. So wanting resonates at an energy called desire. And the energy that's just above that if we could just push up into a little bit, would be anger.
I did that. I go through that. I try
Okay.
not to stay there.
No, you don't have, but here's the thing. That's what women have not been taught. You don't have to stay there, but you have to use your anger as fuel for your greatness. Like, women are not taught what to do with anger. So they just let it implode on them, and then they get sick. I don't want to feel that. It doesn't feel healthy. I was taught my whole life, anger is not good. Anger is not healthy. Anger is absolutely a natural, normal emotion like love. And when something has been an injustice, you're going to feel angry. When someone has taken something that's yours, it's natural to feel angry. It's not, if somebody hurt your child, what should you do? Go, come on in. Like, let go in the bedrooms, hurt my little girls. No, you should be like, I'll kill you. Like, honestly, that doesn't sound very enlightened coming from the angel that I am, and I am. But I'll tell you one thing, somebody breaks into my house and they want to hurt my kids. Like, you're going to see a mama bear that comes out that live there. Would you want to live there? But you know what? A lot of women don't know, actually, that running in the background all the time are all the injustices that you've been through your whole life that you never acknowledged, all the injustices of all the women around you and everything they've been through, all the injustices that your mother went through and your grandmother went through and your great grandmother went through. It's all in your DNA, Angela. Pretending it's not, because we just want to be spiritual. I just want to heal. I want to be love. It doesn't work. So guess what works? I accept that I'm angry that I got sick.
Yeah. I
Why don't you
accept
try
that I'm
saying it?
angry. I accept that I am angry that I got sick.
Tell me, do you feel comfortable sharing what's the sickness or what you're struggling with right now?
Yeah, no, I feel comfortable. I have like two rotator cuff tears, and I've always had a bad back for a long time, and then my knees. So it's like my whole body. 24 was pain is my friend, and what lesson are you going to learn from this? Because literally that was my mantra to get through it, because it was unbelievable pain that I
And I'm
did
so
have to
sorry.
experience.
I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. That needs to be validated. The other thing we try to do to people is we go, just, okay, we're going to focus on positive thoughts and we're going to accept the pain. But before we can even get to that, Angela, we have to actually have somebody say,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that
Yeah.
you're in pain. I'm so sorry you're in pain. That is an awful way to live.
The
I,
worst part about it, it is an awful way to live. The worst part about it is it's very difficult for me to walk. So when I was angry and I couldn't walk, and I'm just really starting to walk, and I'm not doing very well with that at all, is I got a treadmill back there, which you can see probably.
yeah.
And once I started walking, I remembered this is how you get rid of your anger. I needed to move my body. And so there was a block in my legs because
Yes.
I couldn't walk
Yes.
very well.
Yes.
And when I get on that, I remembered, like move energy, movement moves energy. And
So
I wasn't able to do that.
it's part of it. So we always remember body, mind, spirit. So the body has to move. If it doesn't move, it's going to get stagnant. And you could be the most spiritual person in the entire universe, but if you only sit in the lotus position at the bottom of the mountain, like, your body has to physically move to shift energy and to shift blocks and to not get stiff and sore and have bad knees. The hips have to move, things have to move, shoulders have to move. The worst thing that you could do right now is be like, I'm in so much pain, I don't want to move. So even if you're just doing this, you're moving energy, Angela. So even if you
Yeah, no,
and
they're getting better. Yeah,
yeah,
I
of
can
course
do
they
this
are.
now.
Yes,
I
they are.
couldn't do that before, but
And
yes, I can do that.
if we could do this, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because guess what that does? Let's roll our shoulders back, up and back. Let's just do that. We're opening heart chakra. We're actually moving energy in our heart chakra. That's what we're actually doing. Now let's roll it the other way. Roll forward, roll forward. Okay. And if you just did that for 30 seconds, 3 times a day, that's not that hard. You just moved body. Energetically, now mind. So, no, let's go mind. So, mind thoughts. I accept that I'm going to have to keep moving my body even if it hurts. I accept
I
that I got it.
accept.
And I accept that I have to walk on the treadmill because I have to walk on my own 2 feet. And
I
it doesn't
accept
matter.
that.
It doesn't even matter if I'm walking. Angela, do you know I've lost 60 pounds? I get it was 2 years ago, but everybody's always like, how did you do it? Did you give up carbs? Did you I did a slow walk every day, and I actually do like Tai Chi with my arms. It's so easy that everybody's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm shifting energy. So I'm moving my body, my mind. I'm so grateful that I get to move my body. I'm so grateful for this field of energy. I can actually feel it in my hands. I'm moving my shoulders. I'm opening my heart chakra. It all sounds so woo-woo, doesn't it? It's like, what the hell? What is she talking about right now? And then and then I'm writing in my journal between my wounded self and my real self. And my real self's like, Crystal, I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you all those years. And my wounded self is so mad. She's like, you weren't there for me. And where were you? And you think you're all so enlightened. And she writes me these long letters. And then my real self goes, I'm so sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? And then my wounded self has to take some time. And eventually my wounded self says, it's really hard to forgive you. You've kept me down in the dungeon for 40 years. I'll try. It's all metaphorical. It's all your imagination, ladies. That's how you can heal. Body has to move. Yes. And you have to try to put healthy, like high octane food. I don't even call it good or bad. It's not healthy. It's just like higher octane, higher energy. If you want to have higher energy, you would have to eat foods that have more natural energy, like fruit. Everybody said, how did you lose weight? I ate a shit ton of fruit and vegetables. You mean you weren't highly focused on like this diet and that diet. I'm like, why don't we just get back to like the basics? Like, how did your grandparents eat? Obesity and all these illnesses is an epidemic in the last 50 years. We are not moving. It's not our fault. We have been programmed to everything to become effortlessly. Like my husband will say, like, don't worry about it. I'm going to do the dishes. Please. I cannot sit on my ass all day and work. I will die. So getting up and washing dishes and learning how to actually love the soapy water on my hands and be in the moment and feel so grateful. And wow. And like the whole shift around everything starts to be like, you're going to have to do dishes anyways. You could do it with anger. You could do it with resentment. You could do it with gratitude that you've got dishes. Now, trying to get someone to get to that point when they're down in I'm in chronic pain is why telling someone to love themselves doesn't work. But telling someone to accept the rage, the anger, the fear is the first step to actually being like, you mean I get to actually acknowledge that I've rage and anger and fear? Well, yeah, you do. And I would too. And we can't change anything until we accept it. We can't love or have a healing even. It's so crazy to actually try to explain that to somebody, but healing happens in the energy of love. So what you defend against, you create. So if you're like, I'm angry and I have to keep, defending my righteousness over here that I'm angry about, then you don't get to actually utilize the energy and the power of anger for you. Like, why would we keep letting our anger implode on us and stay angry at everybody else and like let it hurt us? It's killing us. It was killing me. I had to actually be like, I am so angry that I'm the sole breadwinner. I am so angry that I've created a life where I have made everybody codependent on me. I am so angry that I have created a life where I need everyone to love me. I am so angry that I actually got to acknowledge all the things that I created. And then I could actually be like, yeah, and I accept that I felt really guilty for putting my foot down. And I accept that I felt really guilty because I accept that I felt really afraid. I accept that I felt really trapped. I accept that I felt, and when all that acceptance starts to show up, it's like, okay, so now what would courage have you do? So, Angela, my last question today, and I would love to invite you back in a week from now to give us an update. If you just allowed yourself to acknowledge that I am angry about those things. I wish I could turn back time. I can't, but I have so much pride and dignity for who I am right now today, turning 70. God damn it, I'm going to have a third act that's going to blow everyone away.
Yes.
I'm going to do 70 to 100 and I'm going to be like Louise Hay.
Yes, she was wonderful.
What would courage
It's
have
great.
you do? Angela, what would courage have you do?
It's the same. I want to live. It's the same. It's from the beginning to now. I
so
want to live.
we're nearly at the end. Wanting is in desire. You already got that. The seeds are planted. You already got it. You don't
I
need to
am going to
stay.
live.
Yes, you don't need to stay in the
I
planting of the
am
mustard
going
seed.
to live.
The
Right. I am
mustard
going
seed
to
has been
live.
planted.
Yes.
If you stay in the wanting, then you're going to stay in desire and you're going to stay in insecurity and you're going to stay in jealousy. Not that you are. You're going to look at other people and you're going to wonder, why the fuck are they healing? Excuse my language. I just love a good swear word now and again. So wanting is not good to stay in. Wanting is a good place to start, but we can't stay there. So I want to live. I'm angry that I got sick. Pride and dignity tells me I'm going to have to move my body and take accountability and responsibility for all my feelings. And now courage is going to have me walk on that treadmill every day for 5 minutes, even if it's so slow that Crystal and I are doing Tai Chi together on it. Because that's the only speed you need to walk at, Angela, to grow roots long and deep. You don't have to do a cardio workout. Okay. You don't have to do cardio. Even that, all the women doing HIIT. I'm just like, what the hell are y'all doing? Why are all you guys killing yourselves doing HIIT? You're not a man. Your body wasn't designed to have to be a warrior. Walk and do your Tai Chi. Get some 5-pound weights. Move a little for 5 minutes. Tell yourself some good things. And come back next week.
I will. I love you. Thank you.
I
Just
love you.
thank you.
Wow. Honestly, what a powerful session. Angela, you are so amazing. I want all of us, ladies, everyone who's watching, everyone who's here in the live recording studio, thank you. Your energy has held so much space for all of us. Let's all take a deep breath. Because whether you were in the love seat today or simply listening, I know that something in this conversation landed exactly where it needed for you. So here's my question for you. What's the one thing you're going to take away today? What spoke to you? What shifted inside of you? Because empowerment isn't just about hearing the truth. It's about choosing what to do with it. Really let that sink in. Take a moment to feel it. Feel what's sinking in, to own it, and to decide what comes next for you. And if today's session moves something inside of you, don't keep it to yourself. Please share the episode with someone in your life that you love, maybe another woman who needs to hear it. Make sure you're subscribed because next week we're going even deeper. And if you're ready for real transformation, if you want to step into this work at a whole new level, let's talk. Whether it's private coaching, whether it's joining me inside the Master Empowerment Coach certification that starts March 25th, or whether it's coming back here and let's talk on this podcast, I would love for you to check out what I do. Because here's the truth. You are powerful beyond measure. And now it's time to rise. Until next time, you are simply woman.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's it for today's episode of the Simply Woman podcast. If something shifted for you today, don't stop here. Take the next step. If you want to be coached live on the show, join us inside the Simply Woman podcast studio. Sign up now at www.swatinstitute.com/podcast-join-live. Now make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to go even deeper, check out the Master Empowerment Coach certification because the world needs more women leading the way. And now I leave you with just one question. What would courage have you do?